Hi, this is Dawn of StampTillDawn.com, and I am back to show another fun embossing paste card. This is the one I'm going to show you today, and it's the second one that we did at my workshop last week. So we're going to start with cardstock. This happens to be saddle cardstock, which I think is retired now from Close to My Heart, but I'm trying to use up my stash. But you could pick any brown or really any color to do it. But this would work with several of the browns, like toffee. We have toffee right now. It would be a little bit lighter. It'd be gorgeous on that. And then I've pre-cut a flower. This is all from the Flower Market Cartridge. It's a flower, the center, a leaf, and some elements to go with that. And then a piece of one of our ribbons. And I'm horrible with names, never remember, but it's in the catalog. I'm also using a bone folder, the embossing paste tools, and a black pen, our intense black ink, and I don't see the whole stamps. Here it is. I'm using a saying, the Get Well Soon, from our January 2019 Stamp of the Month. This has so many great sayings on here. Best wishes, thinking of you, happy birthday, happy anniversary, sending you sunshine and rainbows, sorry for your loss, just a note. And there's just so many great things on here. It's awesome. A card maker's dream. Okay, so let's get on with our stamping. I just did another video and I just realized that my stencil is still in here cleaning. So I'm pulling it out. Off camera, I have a little thing of a little soapy water, and this is great to have at your space whenever you're using embossing paste, because then you don't have to jump up and run to the sink to clean it. So you'll just toss it in there and then dry it off when you're ready to use it again. I just have a microfiber cloth here that I use to clean off my table. Okay, so now I'm going to lay this on top. Now, if you want to be super precise or you have a hard time keeping things still, you could put a piece of washi tape right here and kind of have it hinged, so you just slide your card in there. I often tell people I am just a lazy stamper and I'm too lazy to be bothered with stuff like that, and I just wing it so many times, but it usually works out fine. So it's up to you. You got to know what kind of crafter you are and what works for you. So I'm just kind of lining the stencil up on there, and I'm taking my texture paste and one of my tools and just dipping in and grabbing a little bit of paste. And you don't need very much, probably about that much maybe. We can always get more if we need it. And just run it along your card. And it's so fun. You know, when I taught the class, I'm like, you know what? Enjoy yourself. You don't have to move quickly. You can just kind of have fun playing with it. Get a little too much in one area, kind of scrape it onto your spatula or whatever this is called. I'm so horrible with names of things. I'm like, whatever this thing is I'm using. So now I don't quite have enough to cover the whole area that I want. I've got a nice thin layer on there. I think I'm going to pick up just a little bit more. And I don't need it to go all the way to the bottom of the card on here. By the way, I cut the stencil. Oops, that's one reason people like to tape it down. I cut the stencil from the Artbooking cartridge using the transparent stencil film that we have available in our catalog. True confessions, and I told my customers this too. I had some old stencil film that was really thick and I thought I would try to use it up, and you know what? It was super hard to cut it. It took me forever to get the settings right, and was not worth the time and effort. So I really, really like the stencil film that we have in our catalog that we sell. Don't waste your time. I spent like, I want to say 3 hours on Monday last Monday trying to cut stencils, and got 2 done. But then when I switched to our stencil film, it was like butter, and it worked really well. You need a sticky mat. That was the other thing, is see all these little tiny pieces right here? If you don't have a sticky mat, they jump out and get caught under your blade. Yeah, not fun. Use a sticky mat. Okay, so I've spread this out really good. Any excess that I have on there, I can get onto the back of it and just put it right back in to my vat. I probably didn't need to spend so much time doing that, but I was just having fun chatting with you. And there we go. Gorgeous, huh? It's really striking to do this on a colored cardstock because just colored cardstock shows through. Let me reach off camera. I have another sample that I did. Here's one I did similar technique. I used black cardstock with the white paste on it, and Isn't that just super striking? I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside to dry, and then get my microfiber cloth and just wipe it off. You can always pick up a little bit of water from your little vat there, clean off my little spot here, and I'm ready to go. I am now addicted to this all-purpose mat. I love it. Use it all the time for everything now. Okay, so flower. A couple tricks on the flower, and this is from trial and error. So here's the leaf. These things cut out together, and it's two-sided paper. So I cut the leaf out of sage. I put the paper, the dark side down, and cut the leaf so it was light, and then I flipped the paper over to cut the elements that go with it. So it's so awesome. You can use the same color. I need to cover up my texture paste. You don't want to leave that open. So now this is the short fat leaf, and this is the long skinny leaf. This is the short fat element. It can go right there on your leaf. And this is the long skinny element, and it goes there. Maybe it's plump and slender. I don't want to be mean. I'm plump myself. So anyway, I'm going to put a little glue on here and put this on the leaf. And then a little on, whoops, I went to take the cap off and it was already off. Crazy girl. And put this on there. It's hard to try and keep your fingers out of the way while you're showing something, so you're not just seeing my chunky fingers in there. So that's super cute, and that's really all you have to do to the leaf. But you know, some of us like to keep going. My friend Gail likes to do stitchy lines on it with a black pen, but I kind of like to bend them a little bit like that. It just kind of gives just a little bit more texture and dimension to it. And then on the flower, you can just, it's the same. Oh no, this wasn't the same. One was flaxen and one was gold rush. And I believe flaxen is also a retired color. Sorry guys, you gotta use what you have sometimes and use it up. So something like this, you can pick whatever color paper you want, whatever color flower that you want. I just kind of liked these rich tones together. Again, on this, you can kind of, there's a couple things you can do with this flower. You can put that in the middle, and probably it would have worked better if I'd done it first, but you can put it in the palm of your hand and push it down a little bit. That gives a little dimension to it. You could also crease each leaf. Just put a little score line on it and then crease the leaf like that. That's super cute. I love how that turns out when you do it. But anyway, you can make it take as much time or as little time as you want. And then those elements are ready to go. And then when I was doing the card, I didn't want people to have to worry about how far down their paste went. I just didn't want it to be stressed. So I cut a little piece like this that you can put right on top just to finish off that end. So we're going to stamp Get Well Soon. I'm using the intense black ink on here. And I'll go ahead and stamp Get Well Soon. Hopefully I'll do it straight. Remember, my head's way off camera. Great. So we've got all of our elements done while our card was drying. I still don't think it took enough time, so I'm going to grab one that's already dry. And that's actually a good example because I didn't go all the way up to the corners. Totally fine. Still super cute. So now I'm going to attach it to my card base. And those of you who have watched my videos before, you know I'm kind of in love with a rubber brayer. And I tell people over and over again, it really helps you to push it down and get a good adhesion with your card. So I'm just going to roll over this with a rubber brayer and then put my Get Well Soon on here. Same thing, use the pressure to get it to stick on there. Now I've put my liquid glass into one of these small bottles that has this little tiny, I like it because it helps me get tiny places. So I'm just going to use this to adhere my flower. And because I kind of folded them a little bit, they've got a little bit of dimension to them without using foam tape. Stick that in there. And you know what I forgot, and the whole reason I had the liquid glass on here? Ribbon. It was supposed to go right here. We can still, because it's wet, we'll just try again. I'll put sometimes you can put it on the ribbon. I also like to just put it on my card. So I'll put a little line of liquid glass on here. And then put my ribbon on. Now I always cut it a little longer because I hate it when it's too short. So I just put it a little long, and you can always trim it off. So it's hanging off on this one side here, which is fine. We're going to go back and trim that. And since I pulled this off, I'm going to put a little bit more on here. Put it back on again. That little ribbon adds a lot, right? So it's worth going back and fixing that. Plus, now you guys can see I am not perfect. I rip things apart all the time. Start over again. I think I got a little embossing paste on there. Okay, and then we can take our scissors. These are my non-stick scissors, and sometimes they're not ribbon friendly, but it's going to work today. Yay. There you go. I actually kind of like this one better, where I didn't go all the way to the edges. I got to tell you the truth, I like this card better. You can take your pen. You notice I have some little black marks on here. You can take your pen and go in here and add little dots. And then on the center, I was playing around with it, and it looks fine without it, but then I just put a little liquid glass on it. And just spread it out. And then let it dry. So that was card number 2. The way that my class came, this is what their kit looked like. There's 3 cards and envelopes in there, and everybody got a stencil. And so this was the second card. I will link the first card in the comments in case you missed that video. And I still have card number 3 to share. Hope you like it. Hope to see you soon.